Today starts our 2-week takeover of Instacart on our channel here on the Rideshare Guy. We're going to be talking about all things Instacart going on for a few weeks, starting today with 7 myths about Instacart. And stick around to the end, you'll find out exactly how much I've been able to make with Instacart. Let's get started. Hi, I'm Tyler from the Rideshare Guy, and today we're talking about 7 myths about Instacart shopping. Myth number 1, shopping doesn't pay as much as rideshare driving. This couldn't be further from the truth in our experience. So it's true, sometimes you'll make more with rideshare driving on certain days, certain occasions, but in our experience, you're able to make just as much with shopping, sometimes even more doing this than doing rideshare driving. Another great part about shopping and the fact that you make the same or more money than rideshare driving is the fact that you don't have to drive during the early morning, 2 a.m. or late night, however you want to view it, hours. You can drive during the day and make the same or more money during that time. In fact, a lot of shoppers we've spoken to, myself included, have been able to make $15, $20, $25 an hour as a Instacart shopper. Myth number 2, grocery shopping is not for guys. Now, myself included, shopping is not something that I have ever enjoyed doing. Typically when I go with my wife to do any kind of shopping, she's there for quite a bit longer than I am. But that doesn't mean that guys are incapable of shopping. Some guys really enjoy shopping, but this is really great for us. A lot of the times we get this reputation that we don't follow a list. With the app, you follow the list perfectly. Everything is really easy to use. And even though as an Instacart shopper, it is something that's safe for women to do, it's definitely not only for them. It's something that guys are able to do, and it is enjoyable for us as well. I usually bring some Bluetooth headphones, and I'm jamming out to some music or listening to an audiobook or podcast episode as I'm shopping. So something great that you're able to do. Myth number 3, speed is everything. Now, it's true that speed is a contributing factor, but it's not the end-all be-all of everything when it comes to shopping. So you're going to take things into consideration as how close that grocery store is to you, how far away the customer is, and things like that. And yes, when you get in the store, the faster you do it, the more money you're able to make, of course, but it's not necessarily everything. And typically the amount of time that the Instacart app gives you as an estimate of how long it'll take you to do is usually less time than you're able to do. For instance, most of the time it gives me about 30 to 45 minutes, and I'm able to do it in about 15 to 20. And trust me, I'm not running around, I'm not frantic, I'm just leisurely walking. Really, speed does not mean everything. It doesn't. If you're not super fast, you're not going to make less money. You're still going to make pretty decent amount of money with this. So don't worry if you're not exactly the fastest. Plus, as you get used to going to the same stores over and over again, you'll get faster at it. Myth number 4, accuracy doesn't matter as much as getting the order done. This could not be further from the truth. So a lot of people think that they just got to get the order done and people aren't going to care about the accuracy of something. For instance, we've had cases where it was ice cream and one was chocolate ice cream versus chocolate chip ice cream, or chocolate ice cream versus strawberry, or whatever the case may be. And you might, or maybe a sugar-free option or something like that. Make sure you're getting the correct item, because nothing could be worse than when you get your groceries and you open it up and you've been told that everything is accurate, it's completely what you asked for, and you open it up and it's not. Especially if it's things like ice cream, that's usually like a treat, or like coffee creamer or something like that. You want to make sure really everything's accurate, but especially things like that. If they don't have it, simply ask those in the store, the employees, to look if there's a different place that they could look to find it, whether it's in the back or in a different aisle. And if they truly don't have it, then communicate with the customer using the app. Usually they're okay with substitutions. You just have to try to figure out what it is that they want. So let them know, hey, they don't have this in stock, but they do have this. Is that an okay change? And the customer will let you know if that's okay or not. Myth number 5, the customer is going to get charged the same no matter what. This is absolutely false. The amount that the customer gets charged is absolutely dependent on what you pick up for them. So what they get when they do the shopping is an estimate. Instacart will charge them the amount as an estimate of what they're going to pay, but what they'll actually pay in the final amount is what you pick up. So for instance, if the customer is asked for half a pound of turkey breast and you get a pound, they are going to get charged that additional amount. So make sure that you get the exact amount of things that the customer has asked for. Otherwise, it will charge them more, which will definitely negatively affect you because the customer is unhappy. They may reduce or get rid of your tip, which means that you don't make that money. So make sure that you do exactly what the customer wants in that aspect. Myth number 6, hotspots mean nothing. Now, we're very familiar as rideshare drivers of things like this, hotspots or peak hours or whatever the case may be. But a lot of people, there's mixed feelings on whether these are worth it or not, because with those hours, everybody's going to try to get them during that time or get those stores during that time. But at the same time, they are paying more for that. So there's ways that you can go about, especially if you become familiar with your area and the stores in your area, then you become familiar with those hotspots and you can actually go there before they become hotspots and are able to make additional money that way. We've heard from a lot of drivers that they find out what's going to be hot on regular days or are regularly, and they just keep an eye on those areas, and that way they're able to make more money doing it. So chasing it, not necessarily the best idea, but noticing it and getting used to it, then you might be able to make more money that way. And then myth number 7, if you have a bad experience with a store, you should stick with it anyway and continue to pick up groceries there just to make money. This is absolutely not true. If you have a bad experience with a store, it's not a good idea to go back and try to work at that store again and shop at that store again. A perfect example, there was a store that my wife went to, and for whatever reason inside this store, her phone just did not work. She had a horrible time trying to scan everything, couldn't get it to work, and it took a lot longer for her to get the shopping done than it should have because she had to keep waiting for the app to work. This has never happened in any other store. So whenever that store comes up for us to shop at, we don't pick it because we're not going to go into a store that our phone doesn't work at. Other things might be that the employees themselves are not very helpful, or they don't treat shoppers very well while you're there. If you ask for help, they don't really help. So things like that, because this kind of trickles down as the customer service in that store is negative towards you, they may be negative towards the customer if the customer reaches out in any way, and that trickles down. And even though it's not your fault that those things are happening, that it will come out to you as the customer can't tell really the difference between those that are shopping as an Instacart shopper and those that are working in the store as employees there. So it can cause some negative feedback for you. And so as such, just don't shop there. If it's going to cause difficulty, if you get anxiety every time you think of shopping at that store, don't do it. So there was 7 myths about Instacart that we talked about. Hopefully you learned something. As an Instacart shopper myself, I've been able to make $15 to $20 an hour regularly, and I haven't spent the amount of time that some of our other listeners and viewers have done. They're making $20, $25 an hour with Instacart, so it's definitely a great way that you're able to make some extra money. So get out there and drive. So thank you so much for watching this video. Give us a thumbs up if you appreciated it. Leave a comment. We read every single one. Subscribe to the channel. There's a new episode comes out almost every single day, every single week for sure. And as was mentioned at the outset, for 2 weeks, we're going to be talking about all things Instacart. So don't want to miss a thing. Make sure you subscribe and stay safe out there, everyone.